So, and I think many designers, myself included, like back in the day, or still a little bit today, we can get it wrong. We can focus on the wrong things just because we have this idea and we get a bit of tunnel vision, without knowing like the business side of things. You mentioned that earlier. So if you, in one of the projects that I'm working on, they have this list, like these 2 or 3 things we know it's currently kind of okay, kind of meh.
Yeah.
And we know it will be an improvement. It's not the most exciting work per se, because you already know what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And then you also have this long, we are kind of live now. This is what I always wanted to say. We are live.
And we are officially live.
We are officially live, exactly. I mean, this is just an experiment.
I think one other big thing that we'll have to be aware of, especially in the SaaS space, is that I'm seeing a big shift in internal teams or internal tools. So because these tools are getting more accessible, for context, generally like the internals team who builds those tools, they usually get the lower end of the budget. So you'll notice if you go into the enterprises, they'll have like internal tools, but you can see the budget behind it. It's like low scope, low effort. We only have budget for this.
Oh yeah.
But I'm seeing those teams grow like this year and to the next 5 years. You can buy a tool, but inevitably it's like a one size fits all. And then if you're at that enterprise tier, what you're generally doing is like paying for custom work to tailor it to your specific enterprise. So why not build your own tools? So I'm going to see a lot of like friction in terms of like sales, in terms of selling your SaaS product versus someone saying, well, I could just build my own tool and then I can build it exactly how I want. I know exactly what our business needs for it to run. Why not build it internal? So I think that's going to be an interesting challenge for current SaaS tools, is to compete with teams who have their own, who funded their own internal teams. Curious what you think about that.
Well, first of all, I can really relate to what you're saying. Like I've literally been in projects where they told me we do not user test because only our employees are going to use this tool. And that's when you're a junior designer, that's really a slap in the face because that isn't what you've learned in school.
Yes.
I think if you have a colleague with a lot of agency and who's very AI curious, they will just experiment and build tools. I think you've shared something with me where you had a ticket creator, like a user story thing based on input. I vaguely recall from a few months ago. Like that's something you can create and you can show it to your team. And then when they're like, oh, that's interesting, maybe it will get adapted and people will start using it. And then the word spreads and who knows, before you know it, it becomes a big internal tool. And that's a risk for current SaaS tools. Like there are people who are going to replace you with something they create on their own. But I also have ideas on how to prevent that from happening, if you're curious about it, because accidentally I talked about it today on one of my projects.
Yeah, I'm curious what your thought, like how do you, like if someone can create a tool internally and then they understand all the constraints and they only build what they need. So there's like typically if you're building a SaaS it's for a specific vertical, it has all the edge cases built in. But like, how do you compete as a SaaS product against someone specifically tailored?
I mean, the feature bloat is really a thing, right? Like I just want to have this one thing and now it's getting so big, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think it's important to keep in mind that sometimes people just want to pay for a done for you type solution. They just don't want to have the whole maintenance and hassle and all the stuff involved with running your own tools. Or maybe people are not allowed to do so because that's a distraction from the thing they have to do on a daily basis. So, so that could be something that applies to many companies. But the way to survive as a SaaS with that in mind is to be flexible. And that sounds a bit vague, like something you would find in your random listicle, like, advice 1, be flexible. But it will make sense in just a bit. What I mean is, let's say you are someone who's someone with a high agency, like you build things, you want to design things, and you're experimenting with automation and all that kind of stuff. If your current tool is not flexible, you're looking to replace it. But if it is flexible, so it has a connection with Zapier and Make, and it has an MCP and that kind of stuff, then you're looking to, like, how can I incorporate this tool in my workflow? So that's the big difference. So if you want to survive as a SaaS, you have to open the door to the outside world. Let all these tools communicate with your tool, because then it's just like piracy. Like back in the day, you would download all these music, all these albums, all the music, because I'm not going to pay $20 for one album, right? But now then you have Spotify and Apple Music for like $10 a month. Those you'd rather pay $10 a month for allowing you to be lazy and not having to do all the work. And it's fine for people to pay a little bit of money for it. Like that's what a SaaS is. Like you pay a bit of money, and you don't have to deal with all the stuff. So that applies here as well. Like if you have a flexible product, people are more likely to see if they can connect it instead of replacing it.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that like the future of SaaS products needs to be integration ready.
Very much so. I use Typefully for content, as I think you know, and I was a bit struggling, to come up with content ideas and, being consistent in sharing my thoughts and sharing work and all that, the stuff that's involved with content. And then last December, early or mid-December, they announced like we now have integrations. We have an MCP, and you can connect with Cloud Code, and you can connect with Zapier and the big players. And that lights went on for me, like, whoa, wait a minute, now I can connect it to everything else. So I went from, I don't know if I want to extend my subscription, I think I might do something on my own now, to, oh, this is cool, I can use it so much more now. And that mind shift is something I think it's worth an experiment or a theory, basically, like that many people think that way. Like, I don't know if I want to continue. Maybe I should do something on my own. And then you can take that all away by just opening the doors and allowing people to do that experimenting, but then within your walls.
I think that's a really good, I think there's a strategy behind like the integration first SaaS. I think it sets up the right signals to kind of spider web into an enterprise, or like to a person's usefulness. Like, there's this idea of like a value ladder. Like you have your entry point, we've talked about it before, like your entry point, the free tier, and then like we kind of upsell along the way. But like if your SaaS is integration ready, you're basically setting up signals via those integrations to see what you should be building next. So like part of the strategy is like it's to get someone the quickest to value. So we've built this product. Let's see if we can funnel them to like get their first win, and then they're excited to use it again. And then via those integrations, those will be the signals to what to build next. Like, yes, we integrate into Notion, into Jira, into different tools. What are people integrating the most? And that'll maybe signal you to use, okay, maybe we should expand on like this CRM piece, because a lot of people are heavily leveraging that integration on the CRM side. Might be an interesting move.
I mean, that's product thinking and lots of strategy right there. And that's one of the 3 pillars that you started this episode with for a designer in 2026, right? So this is the project management / strategy part.
Yeah, I think, exactly. Full circle here. Like that understanding, like how you grow your product is super important. Like the competition is the quality is getting high, the competition is getting high. Like what are the tools or the levers you can pull to like differentiate yourself from the market and also grow like the product as a business? Like it goes beyond like, I really think like the aesthetic part and how things look are like table stakes. Like you should know that they are super important, one, and you should know them. And then let's move on to the other skill sets that you need to level up.
Yeah, I think so. It's something I think is also very important for a designer is something that happened this morning. Great discussion about known improvements and unknown improvements, and where you should spend your time and effort, like which of those two. So, and I think many designers, myself included, like back in the day, or still a little bit today, we can get it wrong. We can focus on the wrong things, just because we have this idea, we get a bit of tunnel vision, without knowing like the business side of things. You mentioned that earlier. So if you, in one of the projects that I'm working on, they have this list, like these 2 or 3 things we know is currently kind of okay, kind of meh.
Yeah.
And we know it will be an improvement. It's not the most exciting work per se, because you already know what it's going to be. And then you also have this long shot, like we think it might be an improvement for something that's already quite good, but we don't know. So the amount of effort that you have to put in to just figure out if the idea you have will be a improvement, yes or no, is going to be, it's going to be a lot of work. And then also, if and when you find that improvement, it's also very likely that it will be a lot of work to actually build the thing. The bar is already quite high in that part of the product. So it's easier to bring that level 2 thing to a level 3 thing, rather than getting the level 3 thing to a level 4 thing. Having that business awareness, or being able to discover the known improvements and knowing what's an unknown improvement from your stakeholders, is going to be very important. I think that's a clear way for a designer to be valuable. Know the thing to focus on.
Yeah, I think the percentage of error that we're going to be moving forward is going to be so small that we'll have to validate our bets. And then like what I'm seeing a lot, like to your point, is a lot more incremental iterations, or shipping things more incrementally. So generally you're shipping like an MVP, but I see a world where, to your point, like the long shot, you'd probably want to ship like a 0.3 versus like a 0.5 or a 1, to see like, oh, should we continue building, even though it doesn't fully push a user to the end of their task. Like, let's make measure, like the risk is too large. Like, let's validate early and kill things before they get too bloated and the costs, like development costs, get way too high.
Yeah, I think so. So I think that's one of the great things of our current time. I think we're behind the age of crappy MVPs. Like, I think they will be less crappy out the gate, like first version.
Yeah, because again, competition is going to be too high. Like a crappy version doesn't beat a good version anymore.
No. So at the same time, the amount of slop is also going to be higher, because it's way easier to build just something, not really think it through and just launch and see what happens.
Yes. Yeah. So and then I think another differentiator, like the founder-led products, SaaS products, are going to be how you inch ahead. So to your point, there's going to be a bunch of slop out there. Like there's a bunch of tools that you can get. Like, which one do you pick? I think the anchoring on someone's emotional, like connecting with someone individually versus the enterprise, is going to be the way to go. So I'm seeing a lot of founders jump on podcasts, creating content as the main funnel. But I'm understanding, or I'm connecting with this founder, and then I'm learning why he's building his business. So I'm connected to the vision rather than the product immediately. This person is the funnel to make me adopt this tool. I think branding is going to be the differentiator, like super important, or like table stakes, like this year and the next. It's like, what difference the one slot from the next is the person behind it, and then their vision. Like, it'll be slot today, but I believe in this founder that he's going to build the tool that eventually I'm going to love and adore.
Well, I can see that. People are sharing articles and podcasts with interviews where they interview, big names within our world. And then they're like, look at this. I can really feel this too. Yeah. Might be something I should do for my own strategy, appear more on shows, where there's my market, where they're already there. you know.
Yeah.
I used to do so in 2023, 2024. I haven't done so in a while.
Yeah. It'll feel like double duty. Like it feels like, well, I'm a content creator. I'm not a business owner. Like it's both. It's part of the marketing. I'm sharing my vision, articulating, talking in realms in the internet or pockets in the internet where my users live.
Yeah.
And then I'm bringing in business that way so I can get to the work.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
makes
basic,
sense.
it's basically extending the sales call into social media.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah. How much should a designer do that type of networking, both on the job and off the job, do you think?
I think we're in a world of relationships. We've talked about it before with when you're engaging with recruiters, like
Mhm.
your every relationship or moment matters. It's going to be very important. Like when you're in a sticky situation, what's the line? Your net worth is your network. So it's
Mhm. Yeah.
back in the day is that if I were to get to be that 100% designer, like that was it. Like the better I am a designer begets more business. That's not the case. It's who you're talking to, your relationships. That's
Mhm.
what facilitates
Yeah.
getting more contracts.
Yeah. I think that's true. Build it and they will come. It's not how it works. Yeah. But then also, do not talk as if your audience are also designers.
No.
That's a mistake I made for a long time, and I see many people make also. Um, all right. So, I mean, we have quite a few things for a designer in this changing world,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I don't really think we even talked about actual like hard skill design, color theory, psychology, and gestalt and layout. Does that mean that it isn't important anymore, or did we just forget it?
No, I don't think I forgot it. I just assume here's my thought. I think we're not like it's very easy to think that we're forgetting like that stuff doesn't matter. Like I'm seeing in my posts lately when I'm doubling down on the other skill sets that it's like, oh well then the core skill set of designer doesn't matter. Typography, layout, etc., white space. It is the first thing you should have and you should be really good at it.
Mhm.
Full stop.
Yeah.
And more. Like that's the
Yeah.
first level. Like the reason I'm not talking about it because I assume if you're a designer, you love that part. You eat and breathe like design theory, learning the history of it, learning all the skill sets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's easy to get lost in that. So I don't think you should forget about it. It's yes and for me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what I really like in what you just said is I should be really good at it and more. The and
Yeah.
more part, it feels like it's almost a requirement to get hired and to survive on the job.
It's what our differentiator was in the market in the first place. We design, and that's
Mhm.
what's unique about us. And then that's our vehicle to the
Yeah.
rest. Like we're going to be able to do all the business thinking, all the development work. What makes us unique and separates from the pack is that design background.
Yeah. Well, but I also mean within the design community, from designer to designer. Like if you have competition, either
Mm.
as a job seeker or as a freelancer, the thing that makes you stand out is going the extra mile. And that's what you said with the and more part of your
Yeah.
sentence. Like I don't think that's going to be optional anymore.
No.
The base level of what people expect from a designer is going to go up, and you have to find your new extra mile just to stand out again. And I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing. It means that we're getting better as a profession.
Yeah. I think that's what it's going to be. And then the added value into it, like if we go back to the idea of like this builder person, we're going to be constantly working. There's not going to be that period where there's no design work this week or there's no development work this week because
Yeah.
we're blocked. It's jump in where you fit in and let's help grow this business. And then you have this Swiss Army knife of skills that you can jump in where you need it. You're not waiting because it's not
Yeah.
It's not design's turn yet, or it's not project management turn yet.
Mm.
It's we can jump in where we need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Just an example of that is the founder of another project flagged me in Discord with a screenshot like, hey, this is what it's looking like now, and I don't think it feels right because of these reasons. I looked at it, I was like, yep, makes sense. I think I agree. I told them I'll work on it. And me working on it is just going into the code base, looking it up. I already know the improvement, doing it and putting in the PR for review.
Yeah.
And then it's done. It's small enough that I can design it in code directly. I'm just being summoned basically. There's always work. Just make this quick test, this quick improvement. And that's a lot of fun, actually. It feels good to just tinker away on something and make it slightly better. So I'm very happy and very much looking forward to all the changes of this year. I do not have AI fear at the moment, at least. I'm currently riding the wave of excitement in terms of design plus AI. I think it's very cool. I would consider myself a builder. I really enjoy that name, crafter. When I play a game, I'm always the crafter.
There you go. You're already there, man.
Yeah,
You're already there.
yeah,
Like you said at the beginning in last episode, you're ahead of the pack.
Yeah. Well, I try to be so, and I think that's a very safe strategy. Like, you have people who are very concerned about AI, like it's going to take away jobs, which it probably will. But if you are in a group and you're concerned that the whole group is going to be faded away, the best position to be is on top of the group. Like you're you're in the best position to jump ship. And it sounds very selfish, the way that I'm putting it. But if you are already like AI native and AI curious and already building and designing and doing so many things, you have so many bets open that whatever happens, you're likely at the front of the line when you have to go somewhere. So I feel quite safe as a designer this year.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like if you're one of the people who are not afraid to kind of stretch themselves, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. It's a bit of a silly one-liner, but all you have to be is curious about the things that are changing. Experiment a little bit, see what sticks, and then you should be fine, basically.
It's going to be fine. Just work. It'll be fine. Just work your face off. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I just took a 2.5 week break. So I think the balance is there, but that might be my silly European brain talking.
No, I'm with you. I'm aligned.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Like we should as co-hosts of this show, right? Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, I hope that this has been helpful. It turns out to be more of a free format discussion on the future of design and AI and soft skills. Yeah, good one.
Good one. I think there's some decent nuggets in there.
Yeah.
We had our magic hats on. We're seeing the future. I hope this helps.
Yeah. We should review this episode in a year and then laugh about all the silly things we said.
Let's do it.
All right.
Cheers. That was a great episode. So if you like this content and want to hear more, please like and subscribe.
Yeah. And if you want to see more, please go to designtablepodcast.com, Spotify, Apple Music, all the big players and more.